Welcome to Friday 13th YouTube channel Metalheads. Today we're going to be talking about a cult classic UK band. This is Raven. Now Raven have just released their new album on Silver Lining Music and it's called All Hell's Breaking Loose. This is one of the best albums the band have recorded. Check it out, Metalheads. So Raven were formed by two brothers, as we all know, John Gallagher, Mark Gallagher. John's the bass player and vocalist and Mark is the guitar player. The band were formed back in 1974 in Newcastle, England. And the original drummer, Paul Sheriff. Now, we all know the Northeast, Newcastle, was a place that was birth for a lot of fantastic British heavy metal bands of the new wave of British heavy metal, such as Venom, Tigers of Pantang, Avenger, Tyson Dog, Blitzkrieg. There's some great bands that came out in Newcastle, and Raven was one of them. Now, after the band released a couple of singles, the band were actually signed to Neat Records and released their first album back in 1981. This was called Rock Until You Drop and featured drummer Rob Hunter. Although the debut album may have been compared to Tigers of Pantang, John's high-pitched vocals really did stand out, and they still do today. John's got a unique style and vocal arrangements. I guess you could say the band were kind of compared to Tigers of Pantang, maybe even Tank, but the band were unique as a three-piece. They were a fantastic band that came out of Newcastle, and certainly got a lot of potential and a lot of publicity back in the day with such magazines like Kerrang and also Sounds magazine. Now, the White album for me was a lot heavier album than the debut album. Kind of get the Venom, the Motorhead, and the Tank vibe, but it was still very much Raven in their own style. Now, songs like Faster Than the Speed of Light, which is still played today, is still a cult classic from the White album. This is a great album. So if you've not heard any early Raven albums, please check out Wiped Out, fantastic album. Now, the band have recorded 15 albums since the band started, and Rob Hunter left the band after the album Life's a Bitch. This was recorded back in 1987. Rob's replacement would be Joe Vasalenda, who recorded the album Architect of Fear, released in 1991. Me personally, this is one of my favourite albums. Now, Joe would leave the band in 2015 after the album ExtermiNation, which is a great album. His replacement was Mike Heller. Mike Heller has been in the band since the album Metal City, but he was also in the band Fear Factory. Now, some people may say that Raven have got a lot heavier since Mike joined the band. This could be quite true, especially with Mike's blast beats in certain songs, and they do fit well with the music, but it's still very much Raven. So this album contains 10 songs. I'm going to tell you the songs on this album. We've got Medieval, we have Safe, the Tsunami, Turn on the Stew, All Hell Breaks Loose, The Far Side, Desperate Measures, Victory's Call, Edge of a Nightmare, Invasion, and Go for the Gold. Now, the production was handled by the band, with the engineering done by Mike Heller, with Lassie Lamert handling the mixing. The overall sound is crisp, solid, and powerful. Fantastic album production indeed. Now, when I look at the album cover, I particularly like it because I think it's a fantastic artist who's done this album. Kind of reminds me of Malvik Comics. Opening track, Medieval, is a really good song. It's really heavy, really slap in the face song. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Tank and also the German band Destruction, but it's still very much Raven. John's vocals are really fantastic, really high pitched as he does in places. Mark's guitar playing is excellent, and Mike's done a fantastic job with the drums. It's a really great power metal, speed metal song. You know, some people may say that Raven are one of the first bands that started thrash metal. This is something that's going to go on for many years. People are going to be talking about who's the original thrash metal band. But Raven are certainly up there with Anvil, Motorhead. Now, the next song is called Safe in the Tsunami. This is a brilliant song. There's no way around it. This pretty much does sound like Judas Priest, Painkiller, especially with the drumming at the beginning. Mike's done a fantastic job showing his ability how to play drums really strongly, but it is very much influenced by Judas Priest, only at the beginning, but it's still a very powerful and heavy song. And the good thing is it's still very much Raven. Mark's got his own identity on guitars, and it sounds really good. I say John's vocals are very high-pitched in places, but it really does suit the music and the song really well. John has a real fantastic bass guitar sound, very dirty sounding, very distorted. The song is called Safe the Tsunami. So if you're a fan of old school Raven and a bit of Judas Priest from the Painkiller era, this is a fantastic song for you to check out. Next song is called Turn of the Screw. This is a little bit more laid back to the first two songs, but it's still very much Raven. It's still a heavy song. It's got groove. John's vocals are fantastic on this song. Really good melody hooks and catchy guitar riffs. Really good song. It's called Turn of the Screw. Also, Turn of the Screw also has a little hint of blast beats. Obviously, Mike's been in some heavy death metal bands, so it's certainly coming through in Raven's music. Some of you guys out there might like the blast beats, some of you may not, but it still gives a fresh, different sound to Raven's music. Next song is the title track, All Hell's Breaking Loose. And the song pretty much says it all. It sounds like Raven are breaking loose on this song. Very powerful song, very melodic, but very heavy. John's vocals are pretty much high pitched in this song, but he's a great singer. He knows how to sing high. He's been on it for many years. Much love and respect to these guys. They're pulling out a fantastic album. The next song up is called The Far Side. Very melodic, very powerful, pretty much speed metal, but it's still classic Raven at the same time, like I said before. Raven are mixing old school and new school, and it's certainly working in favour of their music. Now, the next song is called Desperate Measures. This is a really good song. It's catchy, it's melodic, it's got some really good grooves. And John's vocals, pretty much at the beginning with a high-pitched scream, is really, really good. John's renowned for his high-pitched screaming, and he's a fantastic screamer. So I think this is probably one of the best albums that Raven has done. It's definitely the strongest, the heaviest, melodic. It's a great power speed metal album, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to give this album 4 out of 5. I think the songs are really strong. The production's really strong. I wish the band all the best in the future. Stay strong, metalheads. Please share this review on social media sites. Thanks for watching. Be safe.